Hey, good morning. Hope you're having a great beginning to your day. I wanted to share a short Dvar Torah that I saw in this week's Torah portion, and I also felt was very important in the times we're living in, the things that we watch occurring every day. You know, it used to be a time in society and in the world where people were careful with their words, they were careful what they said, how people would take it, if they would hurt people. Today, people are much looser with their words, and they're so quick to say a sharp word or a negative idea, even though it might be hurting someone in a very great way. And the Torah, in this past portion, taught us something so important. Again, with a little nuances in the words, the Torah teaches us a powerful lesson that I want to share with you. God tells us in last week's Torah portion, you should never afflict any pain on the orphan and the widow. Rashi, the commentary right away, tells us that it doesn't just mean the orphan and the widow, it means anyone that's vulnerable. The reason why God and the Torah uses the orphan and the widow, because typically people took advantage of those who were vulnerable already, of those who were either widowed or orphaned and had no one to defend them, so people would hurt them. So the Torah mentions them specifically, but it doesn't just mean them, it means anyone. And then the Torah says these words, Im ane ta'ana otam, if hurt, you will hurt them. Ki im tzak yitzak elai, cause cry, they will cry to me. Shamoa eshma tzakase, hear, I will hear their cry. And the question, of course, all the rabbis ask is, we don't see this anywhere in the Bible. Every sentence in that verse is double. Kim ane ta'ane, because if hurt, you will hurt. And then tza'ok yitzak, cry, they will cry. And shemoa eshma, hear, I will hear. It's like God saying in the Ten Commandments, Anochi I, Hashem, our God, your God. Elokecha, your God. Why would God repeat the words twice? Yet here in this verse, when God tells us not to afflict the orphan and the widow, He uses the word kim ane ta'ane, because if afflict, you will afflict. Tza'ok yitzak, cry, they will cry. Shemoa eshma, hear, I will hear. And this here you find an insight from the Torah, that although given thousands of years ago, gives us the deepest insights to the psyche of a person, and teaches us things that psychology and therapy only learn thousands of years later. You see, when someone grows up in a healthy environment, in a blessed home with loving, doting parents and grandparents and siblings, and sometimes someone in school tells them a lousy word, is rude to them, is mean to them, condescending, if it's a teacher, if it's a principal, if it's another child in the class, they come home and the parents says, don't listen to them, you're amazing, you're great, you're good, and they comfort them and they help them through. But when you grow up in an environment and you're not blessed to live in a home with so much love and kindness, and someone you know who might even have to be a role model says something condescending to you, hurts you, that hurt stays in your psyche every day of your life, and it keeps on coming back and back. I once heard from a friend, he went to a bar mitzvah of his friend who was marrying off his son, and the guy was a 50-year-old guy, and he was he was bar mitzvahing his 13-year-old son. In the middle of the bar mitzvah, my friend goes to dance with the father of the bar mitzvah, and the guy's crying. And he says, what will become of me? What will become of me? And my friend looks at him and says, what are you talking about? He says, why are you crying at this happy occasion of the bar mitzvah of your son? Look at all your beautiful children. And he's crying, what will become of me? My friend says, what do you mean, what will become of me? Look at the business you've made. Look at the family you've built. Look at the community you're in. Why are you crying? And he said, when I was a young child, around 12, 13 in yeshiva, in school, my teacher kept on telling me, what will become of you? You're a nothing, a no good, Nick. Nothing's going to come out of you. So he says, but look what you built, so why are you thinking about it? And the guy tells my friend, every day of my life since then, I never could stop thinking of what that teacher told me. And that's why the Torah says repetitive, Kim ane ta'ane. If hurt, if afflict, you will afflict. God recognizes, tza'ok yitzak, cry, you will cry the day you're hurt. the day you're afflicted, the day you're insulted, but then you will continue crying every day as the days go on and the pain continues to reverberate in your psyche. And what does God say? Shamoa Eshma. I won't only hear you the first day you cry when someone hurts you, when someone pains you, but every day afterward, when the pain is in your psyche of the way you were treated, God says, I will listen. I will comfort you. The question is, how do we overcome such talk? How do we instill within ourselves, within our children, not to be victims of such talk and not to let it stay in our psyche? And the answer, of course, is that the greatest antidote to negative talk is positive talk. We have to build people up. We have to build our children up. We have to build ourselves up. We have to believe in who we are. We have to believe in the power and the greatness of the gifts that God gave us and the opportunities of what we could accomplish. God is warning us. This is thousands of years before therapy. Psychoanalysis came up with this, that when you hurt someone, when you speak negative, especially to someone who's vulnerable, they will cry once when you say it, but they will continue crying and will remain in their psyche. But God also tells us that the same is a positive. When you tell someone a good word, when you're kind, when you build someone up, especially someone who's vulnerable, who's not sure of their direction, who's not sure of what they can accomplish and who they will be, and you say, you have the power, God-given power, look at your talents, look at where you come from, look at who you are, and you lift them up. Those words you say are not just going to reverberate today in their psyche, but it'll reverberate every day and give them the strength to lift themselves up and to accomplish great things and to be the people and the gift that God gave them to be. So my message to you today is such a powerful lesson. We live in a crazy world. People are so quick to insult, to hurt, to pain someone else, to shoot a line that might be so insulting. But what we need now more than ever is kind words, is words that build people up. If you have a friend, if you have a child, if you have a sibling, parents who could use that love, who could use that confidence, that build-up of the inherent qualities that God has given them and the great things that they can accomplish, don't hesitate to say it. Say it. Because just as in the bad, the words continue to come, and God promises, here I will hear, not just today, but every day they pain. The same is true with the kindness. When you say a kind word, when you do something caring and loving to someone, and it helps them through, God doesn't just hear it the first time. He hears the words, the love, the care that you gave every day of your life, every day of the guy's life, that it helps them. You know, I was blessed to grow up in a home. My parents are both immigrants. Didn't have much. My parents worked hard just to put bread on the table, to send us to school, to give us what we needed. And we didn't lack much, but we didn't have much. But one thing we had a loving environment, compliments, encouragement, strength, and lifting up. Hashem give us that we should always be using kind words and always be lifting people up and showing them their potential to reach the God-given gifts that Hashem has given them and make this world a better, kinder, more loving place. God bless you.